Everybody, it's Invictus. Time to know that you can run here the Binding of Isaac Victor Repentance series. Happy Monday, Mosh Pit. Hope your weekends were awesome. I know mine was because we had another video cross 3,000 likes, which now only puts us 5 away from the TM Trainer run that happens here on the YouTube save file, which I'm looking forward to, and also kind of getting a little bit nervous, but we'll see if we get there by the end of this week. Here's your meme of the day, brought to you by Forzane. Title thread was Invicta quote of the episode: throw poop everywhere and just hope for the best. I mean, it is a little bit of a low effort meme, but I did get a chuckle out of it because, like, just the absurdity of the quote. It's hard to, like, I wish I had just like a running tally of just the ridiculous things that Isaac forces you to say over the span of its like lifespan that you play the game, and just like see a compilation of all that craziness. Today is going to be Romeo 4 Foxtrot 2 0 Foxtrot Quebec Foxtrot. That's a lot of Foxtrots. Starting off here with good old Tri-Badian. All right. Well, 1.95 tiers is just god-awful. 3.12 damage would normally be kind of okay. A little bit of a disappointing start for damage. But the thing is that we have Trisagion. And Trisagion now with the infamous defender who once told me that it's not a damage down, it just makes you deal less damage. And they said that completely unironically too, by the way, which was always like that was the biggest thing, is that the person who told me that on the when they were defending Trisagion was like actually 100% serious when they said that. I'm like, okay, all right, we are living in Looney Tunes land now. I think I wouldn't mind getting the blue candle. We also have ourselves a trinket smelter, which didn't actually start us with a trinket, which is also kind of a bummer. So yeah, obviously we have a possible sack room play here. The reason why I didn't pick up Conehead is because it does give you a soul heart, and I don't want to waste that on a possible, ooh, you know what? That's a pretty good trinket to smelt, I'll tell you what. We get the Sigil of Baphomet, which is going to give us a shield every time we kill an enemy. And it does stack up to like 2.5 seconds or something like that. I never remember the exact percentage or the exact amount of time that the shield lasts, but that's going to be very, very useful here. One of the rare times where I'm not really going to complain about getting an orbital on floor 1 here is because of the fact we have Sigil of Baphomet. But anyway, going back to the Conehead non-pickup, it's because I don't want to, if we're not going to get a payout from the sack room, I'm not going to, I don't want to go to the next floor without having a soul heart to protect our Devil Deal, because we are going to need it with Trisagion. Trisagion, of course, it gives you Spectral, it gives you Piercing. You'd normally think that would be a good thing, but I'm not a huge fan of it, mainly just due to the fact that it just gives you a pretty massive damage down. And yes, it does not give you a damage down, it just makes you deal less damage. So, yeah. But since we are having to start with it, we're just going to have to deal with it. I'm really hoping that we can get Blue Candle just so we're not super tied down to Trisagion. Now, that being said, Trisagion does have some limited use that I would say is... There are some synergies, admittedly, that Trisagion has that are, like, not horrible. I can't think of any off the top of my head right now just because I just don't normally take Trisagion, but there are some circumstances where Trisagion isn't necessarily just like the worst thing ever. And to be honest, like, all kidding aside, like, it's not the worst thing ever. It's just kind of an annoying item just because of the fact that, like, you feel like you're hitting with like a limp pool noodle with your damage, and all damage upgrades do kind of get neutered in a pretty big way. Hot take, I'm not going to take Little Horn here, even though Little Horn's pretty good. I'm not doing that just because I want to see if we can get anything out of the sack room. There's 4 hearts in here, so, you know, this is something that, like, that I would really enjoy getting something out of. I'll get a chest here, and even 3 coins would be fine. So, and now if we get taken to the Devil Deal, I will take Little Horn. That, to me, that is an acceptable level of play that I can be okay with. Instead, we got a chest. So now we have a chance to either get a Soul Heart or we can get an Angel Deal item, which I'm like, either one works for me. 13 cents is enough to buy a Red Heart in here. It's also enough to buy a Soul Heart. I'm hoping that we get a good Angel Deal item. That would be the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, we still come away with a Soul Heart. And if we can, like, the dream here is like to play this out to completion. That would be amazing. Okay, we get a Soul Heart, pretty much to be expected. We also have the Filigree Feather, which also will mean that we get ourselves we give ourselves a possible chance of getting an Angel Deal item anyway from beating Uriel here. So we have to fight Uriel, which means I have to go back and buy that Soul Heart that we have in the store, because I do not want to fight Uriel on 1 HP, or even a half heart would be not wise. So we can take... I would do anything for a bomb right now. A bomb would open up a world of possibilities here, but we're going real hard here on this sack play, and we're hoping that we get something out of it. We want to tap that first before Uriel spawns so we get a little bit of value out of those troll bombs. And we are going to be able, as long as we don't get hit, we are able to, in theory, play this to completion. Go back. At the very worst, we get 30 cents, which means that we're able to buy the blue candle. At the very worst, we get 7 Soul Hearts, but we cannot take any more hits of damage, though. A Glyph of Balance, which is going to give us 2 Soul Hearts, so that's already great, and we get 30 cents. So, honestly, I'm over the moon with that. That's totally 100% fine. We have enough money to go now buy a blue candle, which will allow us to turn back around and fight Gabriel now to get an extra item, thanks to the Filigree Feather. We can even buy we can just smelt the, yeah, we can actually get all of this. I mean, Battery Baby's totally fine with me too. Charge Baby. Get the nickel back. So we are going to lose 1 more Soul Heart. But in theory, with Glyph of Balance, this should be able to provide us with some more Soul Hearts to get well, all this life back. So now we have another undertaking of fighting Gabriel now. Gabriel's significantly easier, in my opinion, than... well, maybe not significantly easier, but I think he's easier just because sometimes Uriel does some weird things with his beam, like the one that you saw us get hit by. There you go. You just sort of conga line Gabriel into the spikes here. They do deal a pretty good amount of damage. Let's put it this way: Gabriel is, in my opinion, is a little bit easier just because he telegraphs his beam a lot easier to. It's a lot easier to read. And look at that, we had Crown of Light, although we did lose our Soul Heart, but we do get 2 Soul Hearts anyway because of Crown of Light. The thing is that it's not going to matter until we actually have the ability to fill our red hearts. So, very, very, very long but very profitable first floor here, and I'm satisfied with that. So we're starting off. Ooh, I think Quince as well. We're starting off here on a really high note, and now we have the ability, and possibly I do like mapping. Possibly the motivation to go for Angel Deals instead of going for Devil Deals here with the Filigree Feather. I mean, Filigree Feather is going to provide us with a lot of extra items that we normally wouldn't be getting out of Angel Deals anyway. And on top of that, there's a great freeze by Charge Baby. On top of that, Crown of Light will at the very minimum cancel out a lot of the damage down, negative portion of Trisagion. Does that make sense? Like, the only thing is that we have to activate it, which means we have to be at full hearts, which we are not right now. You're seeing how kind of pathetic our damage is right now. We can't even deal with a skitterer or two without them getting a multitude of chances to deal damage to us here. Yeah, we'll take an Eternal Heart. We'll also take a Soul Heart. You can definitely make a case for just going straight up Angel Deals just because of the Filigree Feather. But the thing is that we're not guaranteed an Angel Deal until at least floor 4 or higher. So we might be waiting a while, which is why we're going to need some red hearts here to fuel some sacrifice room plays, which started this whole ordeal. Bomb here. I'll go for the... No, this should be pretty easy. Bomb our way into. Sometimes this room is a little bit tricky to find the to find the right spot on the wall to bomb. But while we're getting going here on this second floor, we go on to last week's question of the episode. Question of the episode. There's a double tinted rock over there. Question of the episode where I simply asked, if you could buff optional bosses and to have more meaning, what would it be? And the most upvoted comment came in from Brady Bowers 6273, who said, I think a simply weekly and or monthly global leaderboard of boss kills would be interesting enough to see implemented. The best form of encouragement with humans is to make everything a competition, which is true. I will say that that is certainly something that it would change the landscape of Isaac altogether, like totally. But I think that it's really, really, really easy to manipulate the leaderboards. I mean, like if you just look at the daily runs, like it's already kind of a mess. So, but it's a neat idea. Like adding like a little bit of an online, I don't know what to talk, appeal, flair to the single player campaign portion of the game is that is one way. It's one way I would not have thought of. Let's put it that way. Trying to get to this tinted rock here. This is going to be an absolute nightmare. These spikes. Yeah, because now they're going to filter in all over here. We've only made this room even more complicated for ourselves. And now I just don't know what I'm going to do. This has become a mind flood room here. You people. I was about to get real mad. If that would have pushed that away from the double tinted rock altogether, I would have lost my mind. Hey, there we go. Finally get a tears up here. Second most upvoted comment came from Ronnie J, who said Hush does have something going for it with the extra item rooms and shop. I've already talked about how I don't think that's enough. For Delirium, I answered that. I answered in my little blurb there. That's not what Ronnie said. Whoa, we got skipped straight to Widow. We skipped like 2 rooms. Ronnie said Hush does have something going for it with the extra item rooms for the shop. For Delirium, I would just give the player Eden's Blessing after defeating him. Maybe if you defeat Beast in your next run, you will have a double deal in the starting room. You still have to spend health, though. Pretty much what I said word for word there. Yeah, it's hard for me not to go devil deals, but I'm gonna stick to the plan. I'm gonna stick with angel deals, and I'm gonna leave Blue Candle behind. But I'm on record for saying that I personally do not feel that Hush, like a double item pedestal and a shop is not enough that's not enough reason to go fight one of the more difficult bosses in the game. That's just my opinion anyway. Delirium giving Eden's Blessing and killing Beast giving a devil deal on the start of the next floor. That's pretty much what I said word for word. And I think that, it's encouraging to hear that, because it means a lot of people are really looking at this issue with, kind of a serious take on it. And that's good. That's good, because that's how change happens for the better for anything, really, especially in games. And the third most upvoted comment came in from the list of Mr. Raguso. I'm probably saying that part wrong. Bosses like Hush and Delirium do offer more items, but other optional bosses who are just kind of there to beat, I would do a static item for your next run, like beating Mega Satan get you the mark to help you on your next run, something like that. And yeah, and that's all I'm asking for. Just like give me as a player any reason at all to want to do the optional bosses. That's the whole point of that entire discussion, right? I'm not asking for a free win on the next run. I'm not asking for easy mode. Just something a little bit more. Something that I can be like, hey, you know what? That seems like that's definitely worth it. Give me Eden's Blessing on the next run every single time I do Delirium. I'll fight Delirium almost every time I can. You know, I'm struggling with, like, let's say I'm struggling with Tainted Cain or whatever, or like you need something to help you get over the boss rush hump that is the Tainted Cain unlock. You know, well then here's a way to do it. You can maximize your beneficial effects by doing a bunch of optional bosses on a character you are strong with or you have a good run with, and then let that help you and assist you on the next run that you're not so strong with, like or with a difficult character. You know, there's nothing playing on baby mode about it. It's about helping yourself out and being rewarded for the time and effort that you're putting into on the previous run to help you on your next run. I don't think there's anyone in the world who enjoys being frustrated at this game. And the ones that do, I feel like, are just being either contrarian or they're just masochists. I think for a great majority of Isaac players, I think a lot of them would rather have something like that just to say, you know what, like, there's a lot of frustrating characters in this game. Why not put something in the game that's going to allow us to kind of buff our chances with the more frustrating or even the more terrible characters in the game? You know, like how much would you really work for to do whatever it takes to win on Tainted Jacob, for example, or Tainted Lost? You know, there's already so much stacked up against you on those characters. Why not try to tip the scales in a little bit way, and just not fully, but just in a slight way to help you? You know, and it's something that you can feel good about. It's something that you've earned it for yourself, and it's also not totally game breaking. Like, you're still going to have to win the run. You know, it's unlikely that one item is going to save you, or one devil deal at the start is going to really hard carry you, but at least there's that chance. You know, you're getting something for what you put into the game, and you're actually being rewarded for once in this game instead of just being frustrated and the game just is like, hey, try next time, sucker. You know, that's the whole point of the conversation when it comes to buffing optional bosses. Obviously, getting the pentagram is going to help us in the damage department. The bone spurs is just kind of whatever. You know, it serves a purpose of being like kind of like almost like a roadblock to enemies. But in my opinion, I don't think that it's very kind of you. In my opinion, I don't think it's that much of an impactful item. It's like I said, it's just kind of there. It's there to make a mess of things, really. Here we go. That's where the Sigil Baphomet really comes in handy. Now, if we can manage to get like Serpent's Kiss or something like that to go with this combo, boy howdy, we're looking mighty fine. I am gonna go into the curse room now just because we're here and we have a way of teleporting out. We're not gonna make boss rush. That first floor took way too long for us to get boss rush. Which is fine. You know, it's totally fine. We in my opinion, we got something better than what we would have gotten out of boss rush anyway, so I don't mind doing that. You're seeing how much Trisagion drops off here if you try to use it as just a regular old spectral tier. You saw Conehead proc there. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but Conehead sort of it made Isaac glow blue very, very, very briefly, and that's when it fully negates and mitigates the damage that you've received. Apparently there's a unicorn poop behind Gertie. So damage starting to look real strong here, mostly in part thanks to the pentagram and also, of course, thanks to Crown of Light. We once again get a devil deal. And this is the game being the game. It knows that we're trying to go for a filigree feather play, and so its response is just to not give us any angel deals. And Curse the Blind. And of course it's on a floor that actually has a sack room. Also, I made a mistake. I should be going into the devil deals regardless. That is one thing that I totally forgot about it. I'm sure someone's already posted a comment about it. Saying you should go in the devil deal anyway because you're not going to have the angel deal precedence because you've already gone. Yeah, well, we already have made a mistake in getting teleported accidentally into the devil deal on floor 1, which means that we are not guaranteed an angel deal. Period. So yeah, I should have been going into the devil deals, but whatever. Why did we get a shot speed up from? Go get the troll bombs. Gonna walk out, walk back in, tap that, grab the soul hearts. The thing I hate about Uriel is that he deliberately flies above you so he can get that beam off. The one that's hard to detect which one is being telegraphed. Eden Soul. Now is that worth? Well, no. There's plenty of rooms on this floor that we can get a full charge on Eden Soul, and still have enough to come back and get the Book of Secrets. I'm looking at our HP right now. Of course, it's Curse the Blind, so that's the really crappy part about all this, is that we have no guarantee of what we're getting here. So if we do inevitably go for a secret room item, we don't know if we're picking up a secret room item that's good or a secret room item that's bad. We may just have to wait for using Eden Soul inside the Devil Deal. Use you. How did he manage to spawn that as he was dying? The wafer, which is fan-bloody-tastic. Yeah, it's everything in me not to just say screw it and go straight to Lamb here. That would be not a wise idea. We could also go Beast and leave this item room up. I only bombed that to get a soul heart, by the way, and I was really hoping there was going to be a full charge in here, but of course there's not. So we're going to have to do this the long way. Go. Okay, so at least we have the Crown of Light. It's fully charged now, or recharged, I guess. Thanks to us getting full hearts. We absolutely need this damage up. It's the only way that we're viable against pretty much anything in the game right now, in terms of bosses. And one thing I will say about Trisagion is that what is nice about it is you getting the nice little knockback there. I don't know about that one. Okay. Also, our movement speed's total trash. Really, like all of our stats except for our damage has been totally neglected. Our tears rates have been, the tears rate upgrades have been nice, to be sure. I think I can go back in there and push that back. I was trying to finagle it to where I was going to be able to push it back towards the nickel, but that did not happen. So now the real question becomes, what do we do for Eden Soul? Do we hold on to Eden Soul, or do we stick to the mapping? Because you all know me, you know I love me some mapping. The movement speed upgrade, thank God. It's really, really, really lame of the game to drop Eden Soul on a Curse the Blind floor. There's no guarantee of getting anything amazing inside the secret room. And I don't want to missing no myself. We're gonna be one off. We're gonna have to do the mob trap room. It's all part of the game's plan. Because we get a soul heart out of it. So the question becomes, where do we use Eden Soul? I think the answer is honestly the curse room. The cursed room, if anything, will give us hopefully some Devil Deal items that we can use. Or again, the option to just go straight to the Lamb is there. Especially with Wafer. Blood Oath and 9 lives. Okay. Blood Oath is not what I wanted. Yeah, let's do it. Blood Oath completely ruins Crown of Light, but really hoping we're gonna get something a little bit better out of that. But we can refill it. Now, Crown of Light, we can get Gimpy. Let's see what our damage is at currently. I was really hoping that we were gonna get something a little bit more substantial from that Curse from play. Yeah, so it's at 10 right now. Wow, that is a large amount of space to cover. The reason why I decided to go, the only reason why I decided to go to the dark room is because of Wafer. That is it. I don't recommend doing this without Wafer, but Wafer essentially just doubles our HP. And our damage with Crown of Light is sufficient enough, but the predication there is with Crown of Light, not getting hit. Quince is also going to help us out a little bit. And once again, we have somehow perfectly, evenly distributed our DPS there. I also got a heal from somewhere. I'm not sure what. We're getting like a shot speed up, and then we're also getting a heal something. I can't for the life of me think of what's giving us a shot speed up upon getting hit. Unless if it's Glyph of Balance, maybe. I don't know. Doesn't matter. We have a long way to go here. Super Wrath just over here just duking himself. I think he's Super Wrath. And that was the Glyph of Balance, and that's something I need to not be doing. I need to not be taking these soul hearts here. It's more likely than not, I'm going to probably end up killing myself on getting the Satanic Bible and such. Which means I need to leave these soul hearts behind. And Glyph of Balance will actually, there's a nice little trick that you can do with Glyph of Balance. If it starts dropping you soul hearts, what you can do is you can just not gain any HP and leave all the soul hearts as drops on the floor. And what will happen is that every single room clear will subsequently drop another soul heart. We've done this before with Glyph of Balance. Now, I don't know what the threshold of your HP has to be, but it has to be pretty low, and your other things have to be pretty high in order for this to work. But in theory, what we can do is to make sure that we always have Crown of Light active while still getting all those Devil Deal items at the start of this room, or at the start of this floor, is we leave all the soul hearts behind, go take the Satanic Bible and Gimpy, and then, I forget what else was there, and then kill ourselves, go back to 1 health with 9 lives, and then come around and pick up all the soul hearts that we've left on the ground. That's, in theory, what will happen here. Of course, it's predicated on us actually getting those soul hearts to drop, which is why I said it's kind of a little bit of a mistake. Ooh. So the Book of Secrets will open up the secret doors for us, or the rooms to the doors to the secret rooms. Of course, Bird's Eye is also going to help out with some supplementary DPS, and we're going to get ourselves Ghost Pepper too, man. We're just spitting fire now. Spanish Mosh Pit can make fun of me for not liking spicy food, yet here I am spitting fire, spitting hot bars. Glyph of Balance is just dropping HP, or dropping coins, I should say, instead of HP right now. Could go back and get Gimpy. There's no reason. We don't need to do that. Say we just smash Lamb here. Let's go punch him right in his stupid face. And, you know, I gotta say, Filigree Feather was a competent game plan. That floor 1 on this run, being able to play that sack room to completion on floor 1 was legit phenomenal. It changed the entire course of this run. So proc there from Sigil Baphomet. Yeah, there we go. I think I'm good with a victory lap for now. I think that run, you know, it showed that Trisagion with help can be pretty good. It was not a Trisagion focused episode, but really came down to like just how important sacrifice rooms are, and it's a gamble. It's still a gamble for sure, but if you invest a lot into making the sacrifice room work with the certain conditions, like having the filigree feather, it can really change the entire outcome of a run. Like, we had no idea what we were going to be looking at. It turns out pretty darn fun one. And plus, we got to do a lamb skip, so that's always fun as well. Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a great start to your new week here. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing. Your question of the episode today is going to be, how often do you use the lamb skip method in the sacrifice room? Post them in the comments down below. Top 3 answers will be read on next week's episode. And thank you again for liking, commenting, and subscribing. As always, I'll see you all next time. Until then, so long, everybody. Thanks for watching this video. I'd like to thank the pages of mine like Picasso, Zombie Fingers, and Goyetag. If you'd like to have your name read at the end of an Isaac episode, check out my Patreon campaign, which you can find over at patreon.com/Sinvicta.